West Ham United 1, Manchester United 0, and a well-deserved victory for West Ham, who now basically assure themselves of Premier League football next season. This was a brilliant result. Genuinely, I think they were the better team as well. Like, I have to say it again and again. Manchester United in away games with intense pressure, with a big atmosphere, they falter and they crumble. They've shown it again. They're doing exactly what Arsenal didn't do earlier. Arsenal against Newcastle in a hostile atmosphere, hostile crowd, stood up and were counted. Went there with a mission and went there to get the win. United today, off the back of losing to Brighton as well in a horrendous fashion, last second conceding to Alexis McAllister, again they concede. And again they look second best. Like, West Ham were well worth their win today, well worth the 3 points. And for them, I believe they're up to 37 points now, all but basically guarantees them safety next season in the Premier League. And that's the main thing. Look, it's been a terrible season overall domestically for West Ham, but you're here next season basically, and you've got a chance to win a European Cup. So for David Moyes' side, there's still all to play for. And this is a really good win, man. Their big players stood up and were counted today. Paqueta, I think he made a couple of bad decisions towards the end of the game, but overall I thought he was solid. Declan Rice, brilliant in there, man. Really good performance. Really good faces all around, showing up at the crunch time for West Ham United, man. And that's why I picked them to stay up. I picked West Ham to stay up because I didn't expect their main players to stay bad for this long. Like, all the teams around the bottom, you've got the Nottingham Forest in there, etc. The Evertons. Like, West Ham got some ballers. There's a reason Declan Rice is being talked about with Arsenal, Chelsea, you name it, Liverpool at times, because he's a top player. He's going to stand up and be counted at some point. And that was him again today, man. Ran the show in midfield. So good. Let's get into your comments early. All right, West Ham was a better team that game, 100%. Agree, Knight. Thank you for tuning to the stream as always. West Ham got a fortunate goal, but they were the better side today. Exactly. Look, I'm going to get onto Manchester United in a second because everything I say about them seems to come true. I'm not a Man United fan, but I seem to speak the most sense about them because everything that I've spoken about Manchester United in recent weeks has come to fruition today, man. I just had Turkey and you're wearing a Turkey shirt. Well, there we go. I had to take off my Arsenal shirt because I can't do a West Ham Man United stream in an Arsenal shirt, man. So yeah, but I wore my Turkey national top instead. West Ham couldn't kill it off. Yes, and I thought it would cost them. Towards the end of the game, United had some good chances. I don't know how Anthony Martial missed, to be honest. Rashford had the good chance as well. I wouldn't call them clear cut, but they were half chances. They were decent chances by the stretch of the imagination. But yeah, you're right. I really thought West Ham should have done more to kill the game off because you don't want to leave it up for grabs with Manchester United hanging about, because I've given them credit that they have got goal scorers on the pitch that can make anything come from nothing. But it didn't happen today, and it's a good result for West Ham. Great chance to put it to bed, though. United would nick an undeserved point. Exactly, Tommy. 100% agree. Manchester United was sloppy that game. Very sloppy. And in away games this season, it's been the same again. Groundhog Day for Manchester United. In intense atmospheres, away from home, with something on the line, with a bit of bite, a bit of electricity, a bit of intensity, they falter. For all the credit I gave Arsenal early today, and they deserve the credit for going against Newcastle United, who were hostile, who were electric, who were up for the fight. Arsenal competed. I've been critical of Arsenal in recent seasons and recent games for not putting up with the fight. United today, West Ham brought fire. They didn't bring ice. They didn't even bring fire themselves. They didn't bring water. They brought nothing. They brought nothing to the table. Like, one team wanted to fight and one team was scared. And that's the story of Manchester United's season. Now, for me, I believe that the 70% of the games this season, United have been incredible. And Erik Ten Hag's done a brilliant first season at Manchester United. Absolutely terrific job. But he needs to fix their away form, because away in big matches where there's something on the line, they don't get it done. Not only do they not get it done, they didn't win today. That's one thing. They got outperformed by West Ham, severely outperformed. I didn't think United deserved anything from this game. And that's the story of their season. There's one thing losing matches away from home. It can happen. You're rarely ever going to see a team go flawless a season. I can accept losing. You can't accept losing in a certain manner, though. And the manner in which Manchester United are losing away games is extremely worrying if you're Erik Ten Hag. Very worrying, because it's not something that you can take forward. It's not like you're seeing positives from this game. I'm going to touch more on it a bit, though. Let's go back onto West Ham. I'm just give them the credit where credit's due, because they came out and they won this game, man. It's one thing saying how bad United were and how sloppy they were, and they were indeed. I 100% agree. But another part of that is how good West Ham United were. Every 50-50, they were on it. They had that little bite to them, man. And I was surprising because, look, West Ham played in midweek, so did Manchester United. So I thought there'd be two tired teams out there today, but West Ham had that extra gear to them, man. They've got a massive semi-final first leg on Thursday. May cover it on my channel. I'm going to see what my schedule's saying. I might have something to do that night. But if I don't, I'll cover that game on this channel as well. Why not? AZ Alkmaar versus West Ham United. Looking forward to it. I think West Ham 100% safe. Yeah, all but safe, man. 37 points, I'll be completely fine. I never really thought they were in a relegation reckoning, to be honest. Obviously, that's rich coming from me, given that they were extremely close to the relegation zone. I think they actually dipped into the relegation zone at some point, but I just felt they had too much quality in their ranks to get relegated. I was thinking sooner rather than later, Declan Rice stands up. Paqueta, who starts for Brazil, I don't know why I don't rate him that highly, but I don't know how he starts for Brazil, but regardless, he's in that Brazil team for a reason. He's got to show up at some point. So I just got to look at all the factors considered. Not losing to West Ham away isn't for everyone. Cheap shot, RD12, man, cheap shot. But yeah, West Ham surprised me though, man. They've surprised me in recent weeks. I think even the Liverpool game, they were unlucky to lose that match. Maybe they could have got a point at least. So they've really shown up towards the end of the season, man. Still think United will be okay for top 4. Agree with the home matches they have remaining: Wolves, Chelsea, and Fulham. Exactly. But what it has done is it's blown the door wide open for Liverpool. This has been the perfect day, perfect weekend for Liverpool fans. They beat Brentford in a tough game. Then they go and see Newcastle and Manchester United lose both today. And what that means is now Liverpool put pressure on them. And how do these teams respond to pressure? That's what I want to see. That is what I want to see. West Ham desperately need that win. Agree. 100% agree, man. They need that win big time. For confidence, as well as a bit of momentum going into Europa League matches. Or Europa Conference League, sorry. Ten Hag should have brought Garnacho on. Is he back fit? I know he's been injured for a while. But yeah, I'm a massive fan of Garnacho. I'd like to see him get more minutes for Manchester United. 100% agree with United. Yeah, United will still get top 4. Their home form will do it. Agree. 100% agree. United is better at home. But it does make good viewing. It does make good viewing because with Liverpool pushing, right, can these teams fend off? Because it's one thing playing good football, but when the running starts, when pressure mounts, can you fend it off? That's the main thing. But I agree, United are miles better at home. Their problem is away from home. And it's not a light problem because I do believe a sign of a good football team is a sign that wins games, right? But the sign of a really good mental team, a real strong team, is a team that can win away from home. And not just win away from home because results happen, but it's what you put into the game. Like, you can't control the result, but you can control your input. Are you winning every 50-50? Are you fighting? Are you running more in the opposition? Are you passing more in the opposition? Are you having more shots? United are dominating every metric away from home in the majority of their games. And that is the most worrying thing for Erik Ten Hag. Because you can lose matches. Pep Guardiola loses matches. Jose Mourinho, prime him, loses matches. Prime Alex Ferguson lost matches for Manchester United. But it's how you lose those matches. And Manchester United are losing matches being outplayed. That is the most worrying thing in my books for me, man. Signing De Gea on a new contract, I would love it and I think I deserve it. Well, here's the thing. I'm going to get onto De Gea in a second because a lot of things I've spoken about Manchester United has gone very pear-shaped for them, man. Very, very pear-shaped. Antonio had a great game. He did. And this was perfect for Antonio, man. He lacks that physical battle, like getting in and around the centre-backs. He would have looked at Luke Shaw today playing at centre-back and thought, I fancy my chances, man. I fancy my chances. He had a real go in there. Real physical beast, man. Putting his body about. Really great performance. I agree. And Manchester United was coming off a heartbreak against Brighton, so that probably made them pissed, but just couldn't break through. Here's the thing, Knight. You're 100% right. And this is why I talk about taking that next step. If you're Manchester United, if you're Arsenal, for example, taking that next step to Man City's level. When Man City suffer heartache, whether it is a last-minute conceded goal, I don't know how, it doesn't happen a lot, but a last-minute loss, a last-minute draw, etc. The real good teams, even Newcastle exhibited it against Aston Villa. You're going to lose games, but the real good teams bounce back. They take that loss on the chin and it galvanizes them. You know what I mean? They don't let any like bad energy fester around the changing room. Whereas I look at Arsenal at times, I look at Manchester United, and whenever they had a bad loss, it rocks their confidence. The whole shit goes sideways. Whereas I look at teams like Man City, whenever they get a bad loss, they bounce back. They've got that bounce back mentality. They need to find that in their squad, Manchester United, one way or another. They need to find a way to bounce back. It's not going to be easy, and it's a sign of a brilliant team to bounce back. And many will say that West Ham away is not an easy game by any stretch of the imagination. I 100% agree with that. But you got to find a way to bounce back, man. Because 2 defeats in a row, then it suddenly becomes a lingering problem. And like I made a point earlier on in the stream, right? I do believe Manchester United will make top 4, just like Newcastle. But what it's done is blown the door wide open for Liverpool. And the funny thing is, right, for all the consistency that Newcastle and Manchester United have shown this season, in comparison to Liverpool, Chelsea, Tottenham, who've been absolutely crap, well off their pace, it's still a tight battle now. And for the majority of the season, Newcastle, Manchester United have not faced any competition for top 4. It's rare. It's rare, but there's literally not been a top 4 battle this season. We've only started talking about it for the last 1 or 2 weeks. So now I'm looking at it, I'm thinking, now the pressure's on Manchester United. Now the pressure's on Liverpool. Sorry, now the pressure's on Newcastle. How do they respond? Because they haven't faced any pressure this whole season. This whole season, it's been pretty easy for them. Lose a game, win a game. We're still on course for top 4. No one's fighting us. Chelsea are crap. Liverpool well off the pace. Brighton all right, but they're not going to make it. Tottenham crap as well. We're fine. We're sorted. But now there's a little bit of pressure. Suddenly Newcastle can see Liverpool in their win mirror. Suddenly Manchester United can see Liverpool coming as well. Now when the pressure starts is when you really got to have the big players stand up and be counted. And I didn't feel it was that happened today from Manchester United. And that's the thing. Look, in recent weeks, I've talked about 2 positions I believe Manchester United need to address. goalkeeper and striker. And the funny thing is, the ironic thing is, literally this game, they would have won or at least drawn this game if they had a better goalkeeper and had a better striker. What did I speak of with Aaron Ramsdale earlier today, right, in my Arsenal-Newcastle stream reaction? I said that Aaron Ramsdale might not be as good of a shot stopper as David De Gea at times. I know it's ironic given his clanger today. But one thing Aaron Ramsdale can do is have the ball at his feet. You are Manchester United, yeah? And for me, if you're Manchester United, you can't be saying, oh, we like De Gea because he'll make a worldie every now and then. I will sacrifice him not being good with the ball at his feet. No, you're Manchester United. You need a goalkeeper that's good in every facet. You need a goalkeeper that's good at passing, good at shot stopping, fast off his line. Every part of the game, every facet of being a good goalkeeper, he needs to exhibit. And David De Gea isn't that. I've been saying get shot of him. Get Mike Maignan from AC Milan if you can prize him away. You need a top goalkeeper. If you had a better goalkeeper today, you come away with a 0-0 at least. You come away with a point. An undeserved point, but you come away with it. Because out of all the chances West Ham United scored, out of all the chances West Ham United had, they scored from arguably a P-roller from Benrahma that David De Gea lets in his net. And I saw a stat that said David De Gea, out of all goalkeepers, has made the most mistakes or most unforced errors leading to goals. He's not good enough for Manchester United. He's not good enough for any of the top 6 teams. Get shot. Be ruthless. I don't care. He's been there since 2013. The time has come. If you back Erik Ten Hag and you do, I'm convinced Erik Ten Hag does not rate De Gea. I'm convinced. Bring in Mike Maignan from AC Milan. Man United fans, do you agree? Let me know in the live chat. But for me, that's who you should be going for. That and a striker is glaring today. Weghorst isn't the answer. Anthony Martial isn't the answer. Neither of them are good enough to lead the line for Manchester United. You are Manchester United, right? You should be looking at the best striker in world football. I'm not being funny about it, yeah? United are the biggest club in England. They should be having a marquee name lead their line. Like, what has this come to? Why are Manchester United fans settling for Weghorst leading the line? Why is Erik Ten Hag settling for Weghorst or Anthony Martial? These aren't big names. These aren't names you have the back on your shirt. If you're Manchester United, your striker is the most important position. You need a bad boy striker up front. A striker that sells you tickets based on that name alone. So whether you go for Victor Osimhen, whether you go for Harry Kane, someone in. So if you're Manchester United, you don't need to make 6-7 signings in the summer. You spent the money already with Anthony and Casemiro. So it's proven you got the budget available, whether it is the Glazers or the Qatari ownership. For me, Mike Maignan and Victor Osimhen, or Mike Maignan and Harry Kane, dust it off, spend that 150 million on those 2 players and call it a day, man. That is who you need to bring in. United fans, do you agree? Let me know. Those are the 2 players you need to bring in because you're Manchester United. You can't be dealing with these cut rate players. You can't be dealing with these, they're astute signings. We got these 2 players on loan, Sabitzer and Weghorst on loan. What good piece of business. No, you talk about good business with Brighton and Brentford because they need to make good business. You got the budget. You got the name. You're one of the biggest clubs in England. You got the biggest stadium in England. Sign the top players. The fans are crying out for it because if you had Harry Kane and if you had Mike Maignan in goal, you at least come away with a 0-0 here and top 4 is secured, if not fighting for the title. Until about February or January, I want to say, United win a title race. And they win a title race playing crap away from home. So imagine if they had 2 world-class additions in goalkeeper and striker, arguably the 2 most important positions on the pitch for them. That's what I'm going to say around it. United, bring in those 2 positions and I promise you'll fight for the title next season. I absolutely promise that, man. 100%, I believe it with all my heart. But then we go back to the top 4 race because like I said, this has been the perfect weekend for Liverpool. Suddenly there's pressure on Manchester United. Now, I believe Manchester United and Newcastle will make the top 4. I do wholeheartedly believe that. But neither of these teams have faced any pressure for top 4 yet, which is rare. Because normally, whenever you're fighting for the first thing, whether it is the title like Arsenal or top 4 like Newcastle, Manchester United, you seem to always face adversity or pressure. But that's been void of both those teams. No one else has put up a fight. Suddenly, Liverpool started to string together some results. And I'm always one that says when it comes to the running, right, table position is less important. That's more like a kind of starting position on the grid like in F1. That gives you P1 on the grid, or you know what I mean? Like it's a qualifying. Now it's all about momentum. Liverpool hit momentum at the right time. After the draw against Arsenal, I said, is it a point gained or 2 points lost? It seems as though it was 2 points lost for Arsenal because they went on to draw to West Ham and Southampton, but a point gained for Liverpool because they turned that second half performance into momentum. It galvanized their squad. They've now gone on to beat West Ham, etc., beat Fulham, beat Brentford, and they got 2 clean sheets in those games as well, which is massive for them. They're not going to take their foot off the gas, and they smell blood now because that's what that Liverpool team's about. I don't care how bad they played this season. That is a Liverpool team of killers. That is a Liverpool team of assassins. They will smell blood and they will smell danger there, and they're going to try and take advantage. United, they need to turn it around. I don't know who their next game is, but you got to bounce back. 2 losses in a row, you can't make it free. Once it's free, then it becomes a disease. Then it becomes more than just a blip. Then it becomes a case of, hang on a minute, we're properly rattled. And you can't afford to do that. Look, like I said, It's like loss. You're still in pole position. You got to galvanize yourselves and you got to go back and win this next game, man. Whoever you play. Luckily, I think Manchester United will make top 4 based on their home form. They've got a lot of home games left, but it's not easy. And winning even one of the 2 games against Brighton and West Ham would have made the task so much easier, because now you're going to feel the pressure. And as a Manchester United player, how do you deal with pressure now? That is the real question for me. They are like a different team away from Old Trafford. Exactly. And that's a sign of a weak side for me, man, because a top team performs home and away. And this is the thing about Manchester United, right? It's not just they're losing games away from home. I can handle losses. I can handle my team losing away from home. What I can't handle is my team being outplayed consistently away from home. I'm not outplayed to Man City, not outplayed to teams like Newcastle, Arsenal, outplayed to West Ham, outplayed to Sevilla, outplayed to Brighton, etc. Now, Brighton are a solid team, don't get me wrong, but West Ham and Sevilla, you're miles better on paper than them. You're miles better in terms of league position than those 2 sides. How are you being outplayed away from home? West Ham won 1-0 today, but it would have been fair if it was 2 or 3-0. That's the most worrying thing for me. Manchester United aren't just losing games. They're being demolished. They're being demoralized. They're second best in all facets. They fight less. They run less. They shoot less. They pass less. Everything they're getting beaten in every metric around football. And that is the worrying thing if I'm Erik Ten Hag. Like I said, I think he's done a brilliant job. I think he's contender for one of the managers of the season, especially if he does win the FA Cup with Manchester United. But the away form has got to be a massive concern for him. Now, whether it is a case of bringing in 2 massive players that can get you over the line, because even under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, United's away form was solid. I think they went on like a crazy run where they hadn't lost like 20 games or something away from home. So the players are capable of it, but something's not quite working away from home right now. Then the performances aren't there most of all. Get the performances first and then the results will come. But the performances aren't even there. So that's what I've got to look at if I'm Erik Ten Hag in the summer. But like I said, overall done a brilliant job. He just needs to turn that away from around big time. All of a sudden, the top 4 is a talking point. Exactly. It was dead a few weeks ago. Exactly, Tommy. You make a brilliant point. I was talking about how, title race for Europe, race for the race not to get relegated. It's all going to be all up in the arms. What's going to happen? All up in the air. Suddenly, top 4 becomes a talking point again. And I think it is because it's the case that Liverpool are chasing and how good Liverpool's form is. Liverpool, for the majority of the season, have been crap. And Liverpool don't deserve a top 4 place if you look at their form from August till now. But it's all about momentum. And they might make it. Because Newcastle United and Manchester United are falling off the boil, falling off the pace. For all the consistency they've produced in recent weeks, it's only an insurance policy. It's only credit in the bank, because now is where it matters. Now is where it's counted. Because I don't expect Liverpool to drop that many points from now to the end of the season. So if you're Manchester United, you've got to bounce back and win your next game, man. Let me look at Manchester United's fixtures, actually, while I'm at it. Man United fixtures, because I do expect them to bounce back. Make no mistake about it. They've got Wolves next. Wolves has got to be a bounce back game. They won recently in their last game. Brilliant result as well. Then you got Bournemouth. Then you got Chelsea. And then Fulham on the final day. So it is 4 friendly fixtures for Manchester United. But no game's easy in the Premier League. You just got to make sure you get the result back. Who will finish higher? Newcastle or Manchester United? I'm inclined to say Manchester United based on the fixtures. But I'm not too sure. Either way, I still do believe they'll make top 4. And look, if Manchester United make top 4, win the Carabao Cup and reach the final of the FA Cup, which they have done, it's a brilliant season for Erik Ten Hag. Genuinely, it's a very good first season. And I'm coming in, I'm saying, I said this before, right? With Erik Ten Hag, this is my feeling on it. Regardless of if they haven't won the league, etc. Manchester United, I didn't think they were going to win the league anyway. But regardless of all the trophies they've won this season, the Carabao Cup, potentially the FA Cup, regardless of them making a top 4, one thing I do have to say about Erik Ten Hag is I think Manchester United have finally found a manager that suits them. And that is a massive understatement. Genuinely, it is. Manchester United is the biggest club in England. Therefore, it is the biggest job for a manager in English football. Not any old manager can take the Manchester United job. And that is a fact. After Sir Alex Ferguson left, there was massive boots to fill. Massive shoes to fill. David Moyes tried it. It didn't quite work out. David Moyes isn't a bad manager. He's done a very good job at West Ham United. He's not a Manchester United manager. Jose Mourinho, arguably the biggest personality in world football, on paper seems perfect for Manchester United job. Didn't work out. Didn't work out one bit. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer didn't work out. Louis van Gaal didn't work out. Ralf Rangnick didn't work out. None of those managers for me felt like a Manchester United manager. It felt like an imposter in there. With Erik Ten Hag, I can see a Manchester United manager in there. I can see a man that can exhibit the traits of a Manchester United manager. The way he holds himself, the way he plays football, his stern look. Everything about Erik Ten Hag screams to me a top manager. And I like that. The way he dealt with the Ronaldo situation. If you think Arteta dealt with the Aubameyang situation well, and he did, think about Ronaldo. Ronaldo's 10 times the player Aubameyang is, 10 times the name Aubameyang is, done 10 times more from Manchester United than Aubameyang did to Arsenal. The fact he dealt with that situation so calmly, did not once violate Ronaldo, did not once overstep his boundaries, did not once discredit what he's done for the club. He dealt with it so professionally, so classy. So for me, Forget all the trophies. Now, I'm not just saying that to overstate it, but genuinely, forget all the trophies that Manchester United have won for me. The biggest thing for me is what a job Erik Ten Hag has done in terms of him as a man, the way he holds himself as a manager. For me, that is a man you can get behind. That is a manager that can take Manchester United forward and take them on the next step. Because for me, I see Manchester United on an upward trajectory, and that is the main thing for me. That is the main thing. Bringing a striker, bringing a goalkeeper, Mike Maignan, and either Harry Kane or Victor Osimhen, and they're challenging for a title next season. I promise you that. Newcastle 100%, they are better players. Isak, Almiron, St. Maximin, Trippier, Dan Burn. United's Anthony and Casemiro, and a bunch of new players, but Newcastle beat United 2-0 a couple of weeks ago. And look, again, when Newcastle beat United 2-0, Newcastle were a much better team. United didn't even put up a fight. They were beating in every facet. And I agree with you to an extent. The thing with Manchester United is their core has carried them. And when I mean their core, I mean their spine. I agree with you. I think a lot of Manchester United players are overrated. I think Sancho, Anthony are miles too overrated. I think Sabitzer's okay. I think Eriksen are okay, but they're not quite at the level to really compete or be anywhere near a team, anywhere near players that should be in the top 6 teams consistently. But one thing about Manchester United is their core is solid. They've missed them in recent weeks, but Varane and Lisandro Martinez were centre-back partnership of the season, arguably. Casemiro's a rocking there. I know he's fallen off recently, but for the majority of the season, he's been absolute rocking there. Bruno Fernandes, for all his whinging, for all the time he's been so petulant, the man can string together a pass. The man can perform at big times. I will not discredit him that one bit. You saw the goal that they scored against Tottenham in the second one. Bruno Fernandes picks up the ball and boom, straight to Rashford and they score a goal from it. Speaking of Rashford, he's got new goals this season. So the core players for Manchester United have stood up this season. But I agree with you. The rest of the team is not at it. It's not up to scratch. Like they've basically relied on masterclasses at times, a real purple patch from Rashford to save them this season. But it's not sustainable. And I agree with you. I think Manchester United need to get better players. But they're still in with the fight. And they're going to make top 4 this season, I believe. But you've got to take that next step up because teams are going to come back. Liverpool going to get better. Newcastle will get better. I expect Arsenal to get better. City, of course, won't get worse. So if you're Manchester United, you've got to build on it next season. Whether it is with the Glens, whether it is with the Qataris, Jim Ratcliffe, whoever, you've got to look at signing some top players, man. And the recruitment's got to be right because they've spent money. Don't tell me Manchester United have not spent money, but they've spent money wrong. 100 million on Anthony, 80 million or so on Anthony. Wrong decision, man. Wrong decision by all accounts. Spend that money on a striker, a proper one. You see what I mean? But look, for me, I think the main thing for Manchester United is their trajectory is on the up. And that's really got to please their fans and really got to please Erik Ten Hag. So I'm going with Newcastle. Fair play. West Ham seems to give Wan-Bissaka more trouble than anybody else has recently. I agree. And look, Wan-Bissaka is a brilliant one-on-one defender. But once again, just like De Gea, this is my beef with Wan-Bissaka. He's good defensively. What does he do going forward? Why are Manchester United seem to think it's okay to bring in a player or use a player that's good at one thing? Like, this isn't like, no offense to these lower teams I'm going to mention right now, but this isn't West Ham. This isn't Wolves where you can afford to go, oh, Wan-Bissaka is so good defensively. Let's get him in the team. You're Manchester United. Your player should be good going forward and going back. Your right back should be good going forward and going back. You think Pep Guardiola would play Wan-Bissaka? You think Arteta would play Wan-Bissaka? No, they wouldn't. They wouldn't play those two players. They wouldn't play that player because they want a player that can do everything. You think Arteta would play De Gea? You think Pep Guardiola would play De Gea? No, he wouldn't. So if I'm Manchester United, I'm looking at what would Pep Guardiola do? Would he play these players? No. So they're not good enough because Man City are the competition. Man City top of the table. So if the player would not go in a Man City team, don't sign him. That's what you should be looking at. If De Gea isn't good enough to get into the Man City team, don't sign him. If Maguire isn't good enough to get into the Man City team, don't play him. Same with Bissaka, same with Sabitzer, Eriksen, etc. Look at players that are good enough to take you to the next level. That's what I've got to be looking at. So if you're Manchester United, you've got the budget available. You proved it. Whether it is with the Glazers or someone else, you do spend money. Harry Kane, Victor Osimhen, Mike Maignan. Because those are players that can elevate you. Those are players that can take you to the next level. A goalkeeper and striker, those two positions would have got you a result today. They would have got you a result today. And they would get you in a title race. I promise you that. It's crazy how Liverpool still in it. Agree. They've been dreadful. Even the last few games, they've gotten away with it. 100% agree, Tommy. 100% agree with you right there. Liverpool have bust case. It's daylight robbery how they're still in the top 4 race. But it just goes to show anything can happen, man. Anything can happen. And if you do put on pressure what Liverpool are doing, teams will crumble. They will. United have had a little wobble today. They had a little wobble on Wednesday against Brighton as well, because despite the fact that it was a really tough game, they were getting away with a point until Luke Shaw decided to play volleyball. So if you're looking at it and you're thinking, you've lost again today, 2 tough away games, you haven't won a single one, not even got a point, it leaves the door wide open for Liverpool. They can exploit it. Now, the insurance policy is there, and it still is in Manchester United hands, but you got to look at it and think, they're breathing down our neck. Like, objects in the rearview mirror are closer than they seem. That type of mentality, you get me? West Ham United's Fabianski is underrated goalkeeper, IMO. 100%. Look, you don't make 200 or so appearances in the Premier League if you're not. He played for Arsenal all those years ago. Now at West Ham United, was at Swansea a bit as well, I believe. Brilliant goalkeeper, man. Top keeper. Doesn't get talked about enough. Exactly. And look, that's why I wanted what's it called? What's the guy Donny's name? Oh, wasn't it? That's why I picked West Ham to stay up, because I think the quality in their team's enough to stay up. Like, Declan Rice is going to turn up at some point. Benrahma, Paquetá starts for Brazil, man. Like, he doesn't start for Switzerland. He doesn't start for Gibraltar. He starts for Brazil. Arguably the most stacked team on world football. Like, they're good players at West Ham. It's sooner rather than later it's going to click. Now, something's gone wrong this season. They're going to stay up with 37 points. I do believe so. I never thought they were going to get relegated. But the main thing is, right, they've got to make sure that they win the Europa Conference League, because that's the only thing that's kept this season alive for them. And next season, they've got to build on it. They got to build on it. Because for me, they're taking a step back overall. Despite the fact they might win a European trophy, West Ham are a team that step backwards. And I made this point the other day on stream, right? Would you rather win a trophy, or would you rather look like you're on the upwards trajectory? For example, Brighton, yeah? From last season to this season, they've taken a step up. Same with Brentford. West Ham, on the other hand, last season they were in the 7th place for Europa Conference League. The season before that, they finished in Europa League. They were looking good. They were looking like the second challengers to the Big Six. This season, they're taking a massive step back in domestic position. They might sacrifice it to win a trophy, to win the Europa Conference League. But in terms of the actual team getting better and building their reputation, it's worsened. So you got to look at it. It's two sides of the coin. For me, you win the trophy. Next season, you got to worry about domestic position again. You got to try and go back up to the top half of the table and fight for the European positions. Rice will probably leave in the summer, potentially to my club, Arsenal. Let's see what happens. But if you're West Ham United, you got to look at getting a better domestic position next season, bro. This season is what it is. It's a blip season domestically. You can still salvage it by winning Europa Conference League. You're going to survive in the Premier League. You got to build on it. You got to build on it for next season, man. You can't have another season where you're towards the bottom of the table and scraping together results towards the end of the season. Weghorst needs to go. Agree. And why Manchester United felt he was good enough signing is beyond me. Weghorst is a plan B signing. He should not start games for Manchester United. Manchester United, like I made the point earlier on stream, right? You're Manchester United, the biggest club in England, right? You need a marquee number 9 up front. You need a marquee striker. Throughout their history, United have had marquee strikers, man. Whether it's Wayne Rooney, even signing Robin van Persie from Arsenal, man. Ruud van Nistelrooy, Dwight York, Andy Cole. Ronaldo would play there at times, obviously off the left wing as well. United have always had marquee strikers, man. Marquee number 9s. Like the best in England type vibe. Like, you can't mention a Premier League team of the season without including the Manchester United striker over the past seasons, but not in recent years. You think Weghorst is making it? You think Martial is making it? Their goals have come from left wing in Rashford. You need a marquee number 9 for your Manchester United. You need a number 9 that strikes fear in the opponent. I want them to line up in the tunnel before the game and go, oh God, they've got Harry Kane. He's gonna run us ragged. Oh, Victor Osimhen, he just won Napoli the Serie A. No, Weghorst, man. Easy game. Or Martial, he'll probably get injured after 50 minutes. You know what I mean? Like, it's one thing a player performing well, but it's also the name. Like, Manchester United need to sign players for their name as well. Like, you're a big enough club. You shouldn't be signing good. You shouldn't be making astute signings. Like, oh, great, Sabitzer on a free, loan, brilliant signing. Weghorst got him on a free. Really good, efficient business by Manchester United. I'm not being funny. You're not Brighton. You're not Brentford. Like, those teams need to make efficient business because that is their style, right? They haven't necessarily got the budget, or they haven't got the name to make these top signings. So they're going to have to make astute, efficient signings. Whether it is someone like, you know what I mean? There's like Enciso Brighton signed, for example. Never heard of him, but they brought him in. He's done well. United don't need to adopt that game plan. They don't need to, because they are a top team. They're the team that's got the biggest name in England. Every player would love to come to Manchester United. Sign those players. You think Victor Osimhen wouldn't dream of playing for Manchester United? You think Mike Maignan from AC Milan wouldn't dream of playing for Manchester United? Same with Harry Kane. These players would have dreamed for it their whole lives. So make those signings. Reward those players for playing well. Look at them and go, they've had 2 good seasons. Now let's bring them to Manchester United. Don't give these average players an internship. Don't give these average players an opportunity. Do you get what I mean? That's just my thoughts on it. Man United get Kane if they possibly can. 100% agree, Jeff. 100% agree, man. Prize him away. Premier League proven, top player. Bring him in. Bring him in his prime as well. He will help Manchester United challenge for the title. Not saying they're going to win it, but they will get mightily close. With a competent goalkeeper and a world-class striker, Man United will get extremely close to the title. I promise you that. Kane doesn't seem to want to win trophies. This is the thing. Tottenham got lucky. They've got the most loyal striker ever. Imagine. But here's the thing. When Manchester United almost won the title, I believe. I think they actually finished second to Man City. They didn't just sit there and go, oh, we'll run it back next season and go again. No. They looked around the league. Arsenal have got Robin van Persie, the best striker. We're taking him. They literally just went to Arsenal, their biggest rivals, my club Arsenal, and took Robin van Persie. Ruthless. Absolutely ruthless. So if you're Manchester United, you might have lost your ability a little bit. You might not be the same club that you were 10 years ago under Sir Alex Ferguson, but don't lose your class. Don't lose your standards. Go to Tottenham and take Harry Kane. Prize him away. Say, Harry, we know you're at Tottenham. You ain't won a trophy. Come to Manchester United. We won the Carabao Cup this season. We want to win the Premier League next season with you. Come to our club. We'll bring a goalkeeper as well. You'll play with Rashford. You'll play with Casemiro. You'll play with these top players, man. We'll take you away from Tottenham. And Tottenham will sit there and go, oh, but Harry Kane, you're our player. And Harry Kane goes, yeah, I know I play for Tottenham, but this is Manchester United calling. No offense, but there's bigger fish to fry. You're Tottenham, this is Man United. You're a big club, but Man United are the biggest club in England. I want to take that step up. That's what you should be doing. You should be flexing your muscles if you're Manchester United, but they don't do that, man. Instead, they signed Anthony for 80 million. You think anyone else wanted Anthony for 80 million? No one else would want Anthony for 50 million, let alone 80 million. Bad signings. You're not utilizing your name. It's like, for example, Elon Musk walking into a room and he can't employ the best person. Like, bro, you're Elon Musk. You're one of the most talked about people on planet Earth. You should be able to employ whoever you want. Instead, you want to employ some cut-rate players, some cut-rate staff. It doesn't make sense. You're Manchester United, one of the biggest clubs in England. Yet you're floating around for Anthony. You're floating around for Weghorst, for Sabitzer. Bro, why? Why are you signing these cut-rate players that would be happy to get a contract at Brighton, let alone Manchester United? Do you get what I mean? Like, the standards have dropped from that club. It's one thing not performing the same, but the standards cannot drop. I feel like under Ten Hag, he's bringing those standards back, but only time will tell. I can't wait for next season. I think there'll be a massive fight for the title. Arsenal will be there. City will be there. I believe Newcastle will get better. Liverpool will bounce back. United, if they make the right signings, will be there as well. I cannot wait. If anyone's new, make sure you subscribe, by the way, for football reactions. I already reacted to Newcastle 0, Arsenal 2 today. Brilliant reaction on this channel. 2 reactions yesterday as well. My next reaction might do one tomorrow, but definitely on Tuesday and Wednesday for the Champions League semi-finals. You do not want to miss it on this channel. First leg, Real Madrid versus Man City, and then also the first leg of AC Milan, Inter Milan on Wednesday. Brilliant games. You don't want to miss. Make sure you subscribe for Let me know your thoughts on live chat. I'm going through the chat as we speak. Kane is trophy free. And look, if Kane finishes his career without a trophy, he will go down as the best player ever to not win a major trophy. He has to be. He might even beat Shearer's record. It's crazy, but you got to tempt him if you're Manchester United. You got to test the waters, man. Mid-table for Tottenham next year. I think if Kane goes, I agree. If Kane goes, 100% agree. Asa, appreciate you joining the stream, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Please, Anthony is not good. Bring Greenwood back. I think Greenwood won't come back, to be honest. I think his time's done at Manchester United just because of the whole thing that's come around. And I think he needs to change an environment and potentially go abroad. But look, I'm not being funny, right? You're Manchester United. You shouldn't be worrying about one academy player being the be-all end-all. I agree Anthony isn't good enough. Garnacho. He might be left wing. I'm not too sure. But for me, if you're Manchester United, you've got to bring in a striker. Give Garnacho some more game time, man. He needs to play. Greenwood not good for morale. I agree with you in that respect. I predict Newcastle to win 2, draw 1, lose 1. United to win 3 and lose 1. Liverpool to win 3. Newcastle United both have 72 points. Liverpool 71. Newcastle get third on goal difference. Well, there you go. That's your prediction. I agree. I think Newcastle and Manchester United will make top 4. I'm not sure on the order yet, but I don't think Liverpool will quite do it. But who knows, man? Rice man the match, deservedly so. Brilliant performance. I think a lot of the West Ham teams stood up and were counted today, to be honest, though. I think they outplayed Manchester United. And that's the most worrying thing in Man United's respect. But in many respects, right, it's one thing saying, oh, United got outplayed. But you got to give credit to West Ham. Like, they have not played well this season. This has been a very poor season for West Ham by every metric. But today they stood up and were counted. They put in a really solid performance out there. And it's going to give them good momentum going into the Europa Conference League semi-final first leg against AZ Alkmaar. Let's see how they do. But Rice, it's about damn time he turned up. Because I think for the majority of the season, he was sleeping, man. He was like sleepwalking through games. He's a much better player than that. Miles better player. Could see that happening, Jeff. Let's see, man. Gabriel, appreciate you joining the stream. Hope you're doing well, my friends. Arteta does play Zinchenko, who can't defend. See, that's a very good point. Very good point. But what Zinchenko brings to the table is control. Like, and what he does, right, is after about 45 minutes, or he did today, I gave credit to Arteta for this, he took off Zinchenko for Tierney. And that was a really good play because it shored us up defensively. But Gabriel, you make a brilliant point. I love anyone who does this. Anything I say in the live chat, feel free to disagree and make a point against it. I really want to hear your thoughts. Make it a type of debate. Don't just feel like you have to agree with what I say in many respects. Because you make a brilliant point here. But the thing is with Wan-Bissaka, right? If you're a top team, you're expected to take it to the opposition. Do you get what I mean? Like, you don't see Man City playing counter-attacking football. You don't see Arsenal play counter-attacking football. If you're the best team, you're meant to entertain more than anything. Other teams like the Brentfords, for example, can play the card where they can counter-attack. Because they're not expected, they're not a big-name market to go and take the game to the opposition. Wan-Bissaka suits a Brentford. Wan-Bissaka suits a West Ham. He suits a defensive, dogged team because the brother can defend, but he can't attack. And you would rather have a player that can attack than can defend. Because teams like Man City, teams like Arsenal, teams like Liverpool with Trent Alexander-Arnold, They want to attack first. That is their game plan. That is their way to approach football. Attack first. Attack the opposition. Play entertaining football. Play on the front foot. United have got a player that is better defensively. He literally is. He can't attack for his life. Wan-Bissaka gets nosebleeds up the pitch. So if I'm looking in that respect, I'm thinking, you got to move on from him. You got to. I don't mind having him in the team. Like, I would have Wan-Bissaka in the team because what I would have him as a bench player. And as soon as the game's locked up at 2-0, bring him on to defend. Kind of like what Tierney did for Arsenal today. That's how I would treat Wan-Bissaka. But the brother cannot start games for you. He can't. And Dalot isn't good enough for me either. So if you're Manchester United, you've got to be looking at a top right back as well. There's so many positions where I'm thinking, look, you bring in these top players and you can take that next step, Manchester United. Because despite the fact they were the third challengers behind Arsenal, Man City, and potentially Newcastle for the title, never really put up a big challenge. Despite the fact that there's a lot of holes in that Manchester United team, they've performed really well, which goes to show the spine of that team is good. And let's not forget that Bruno Fernandes, especially Marcus Rashford, Casemiro, Martinez, and of course Varane have had really good seasons. Their spine of their team has been solid, but the rest of the team needs to be filled out. Sign the big players and you'll take that next step. But for me, the main thing is under Erik Ten Hag, the trajectory is on the up. It's a team that looks like they're getting better, and that is the main thing. True Guna, hope you're doing well, my friend. Doing absolutely well, especially buzzing after the Arsenal win. Appreciate you on the stream as always. Ahazira, hope I pronounced that right. Hope you're doing well. Appreciate you on the stream. I think Malacia is also a calamity. Why would he be in the field for 85 minutes without crossing the ball inside the 18-yard box? Well, here's the thing. Malacia is another one, right? Another player from the Dutch league. Another one of Erik Ten Hag's boys. Is he good enough? Luke Shaw obviously would play there. And for me, I think Luke Shaw is one of the better left-backs in the league. He's been asked to do a job at centre-back. And I'm not going to discredit Luke Shaw one bit because that's not his position. And the thing is, it's got to the point where he'd rather play Luke Shaw centre-back than play Maguire. And that just goes to show how much he does not trust Maguire. But it's the thing. You're saying, how did he last 90 minutes, right? Well, would you rather Luke Shaw go than Maguire come on the pitch? Like, they're a bit stuck in that respect. Like, they've had a bit of injuries. But I do agree with you. But also, Malassi's a young player, man. I'll give the brother time. David De Gea. Mohammed, appreciate you joining the stream, by the way. Hope you're doing well. David De Gea. Why did De Gea in error? He's hopeless. Glazers is all the Glazers' fault. Man United don't make top four. Glazers out. Well, here's the thing, Mohammed, right? I've called this about De Gea. I made this point literally 2 weeks ago. I said David De Gea is not good enough for Manchester United. I made the point after the Sevilla game as well. Why, just because he makes a worldie save every now and then, does people think he's good enough for Manchester United? Why are you rewarding him with another contract? A Manchester United player should not be good at one facet of the game. A Manchester United player should not be good because they make a worldie save every now and then. A Manchester United player, a Manchester United goalkeeper needs to be able to do everything competently. They need to pass the ball well, save well, distribute well. Everything needs to be good composure. And David De Gea lacks all that. He'll make a worldie save every now and then, but just like that, he'll make an unforced error leading to a goal. It's not good enough. Look at Ramsdale today. When the pressure was on Arsenal, he'd dink a little pass over the top to Xhaka or Martinelli or Saka. That just like the attack is the first line of defense, the goalkeeper is the first line of attack. And De Gea fills me with zero confidence in terms of playing out the back and fills me with zero confidence saving the ball either. He's not good enough. Move on. You're giving him another contract? No. He's been at the club for 10 years now. Move on, man. His best years are behind him. Mike Maignan from AC Milan. Bring him in. Bring him in. Why not? He's one of the up-and-coming goalkeepers. That's what I'd be looking at. Is David De Gea on his way out? Well, apparently they're rewarding him with a new contract. It's beyond me why, but apparently that's what's happening. For me, I think he should go. Hayembe, hope I pronounced that right as well. Hope you're doing well, my friend. I can see how EPL is collaborating to help City win a European English Premier League. This is the thing, right? I'm not going to really talk about referees too much because I always believe, right, if you're good enough, the referee comes out the equation. But I don't think the referee necessarily had a bad game today. And if anything, the referee, let's be real, it could have been a penalty on Lindelof. Regardless, United just weren't at it. They were the second best team today. I see what you mean in terms of the referees being crap. But I just think the referees are crap all round. Like, they're consistently crap for every we really need to start a conversation about having like foreign referees in this league because they're not good enough one bit. But at the same time, look, I'd love to talk about referee this, referee that. But if you're a good enough team, right, you take the referee out of the equation. I rarely see Man City talk about referees because they're good enough that the referee becomes such a small factor of the game. When it comes to other teams, I feel like we're talking about referees all the time because the margins are so tight. You're thinking, oh, referee decision this and we might win the game. Do you get what I mean? Can I come on your channel, C1 says? I'm not taking people joining right now, C1. I appreciate that. But you came on my channel earlier, bro, for the Chelsea-Arsenal game. Don't need Man United to mess top four because Liverpool is not season at all. Liverpool smash and grab top four. Here's the thing, exactly. I agree with you, Mohammed. Manchester United and Newcastle face zero threat and zero jeopardy for their top four positions so far. They've been cruising. You know what I mean? Put the car in fifth gear and cruise down the motorway. But now suddenly, in their rearview mirror, they've got Liverpool. Liverpool, who for the majority of the season, for the first 30 games, could not bang together two results for the life of them. Suddenly, they've started to put together 4 or 5 wins. And then you're looking at them thinking, all right, hang on a minute. We've just lost today. We lost against Brighton. Liverpool just won 3 in the meantime. Ooh, now it gets a bit shaky. Suddenly, we've got the lead, but Liverpool have got the momentum. If you're Manchester United, calm down. You're going to have training tomorrow. Everyone just needs to take a deep breath. You lost 2 on the bounce. It is what it is. It's still in your position. You got 3 favourable home games and the favourable away games come up. It's in your hands. You're going to make top 4. I believe they will. You got to just calm it down, man. Calm it down. Don't get too ahead of yourselves. Don't let all this thing fester around. It's 2 losses. It's 2 bad defeats. Bounce back at Old Trafford and all will be well. All you got to do is make sure you don't panic. Because Liverpool, the only way they're getting top 4 is if Manchester United and Newcastle panic. Because if Liverpool win all the rest of their games 10-0, they still can't get top 4. It's in United and it's in Manchester United and Newcastle United's hands. So you got to make sure you don't panic. But away form does worry me. It does worry me big time. I don't think it'll cost them this season, but going into next season, Erik Ten Hag has to address that away form. He has to, because it's one thing losing away games. I can handle losing games. Every team's going to lose football matches. But the manner in which they're losing games is really worrying in my eyes. Really worrying, because they're losing games they don't deserve to win. Against West Ham, they didn't deserve to win. If anything, I think 2-0 West Ham would have been a fairer result. Against Sevilla, they didn't deserve to win. Against Newcastle, they didn't deserve to win. Same against Brighton. You're losing games and you're deservedly losing games. So if you're Manchester United, the performances have to be fixed first, then the results will come. So if I'm a Man United fan, don't worry about losing today. Losing is going to happen. Worry about why you performed second best today. Worry about why West Ham ran more than you. Worry about why West Ham wanted it more than you. Worry about why West Ham shot more than you, passed more than you. That's what would worry me if I'm a Man United fan. Not worrying because you lost 1-0. Not worrying because you lost 1-0 to Brighton. Worry about the performances first. Personally, I can't stand Bruno Fernandes. Myself included, man. Look, Bruno Fernandes is a brilliant player. Absolutely brilliant. And some of the passes he makes is killer. Genuinely. Like, he's got that killer instinct, that class on passing the ball. But the brother is petulant, man. The brother is whinging. The brother, at the slightest inconvenience, throws the towel in. And he's not a calm head. When you're at this stage of the season, right, with your fight for the title, fight for top 4, fighting to stay in the league, you need calm heads. Jorginho today came into the Arsenal team, a calm head, composed. Bruno Fernandes, when it's all going haywire, when it's all not going your way, he's the first to flip out. He's the first to lose his cool, lose his composure. It's all a bit haphazard from him. You don't need that. You're Manchester United. You need ice. You need calmness. He's not the captain for Manchester United. And nowhere near he should be, because you need calmness. Someone that will galvanize the team. Someone that's just a calm head. You can look at him and go, that man will take us through this game. That man will give me instructions I will listen to. When Bruno Fernandes talks, I think it's just nervous. Like, I just see a man he's just complaining. Always never feel like you're out of control. And if you are out of control, don't show it, because the opposition will sense that. Liverpool will sense it now. West Ham sensed it. So if I'm Bruno Fernandes, right, take a chill pill, man. Take a chill pill. Don't let the occasion be too much for you, because I feel like a lot of Manchester United players, the occasion has been too much. In intense away games, when the crowd's up for it, when there's something on the line, they're falling away. They're falling away, man. Bukira, appreciate you joining the stream. Hope you're doing well. Manchester United on away has poor performance. Why I think is not going to be in top 4. See, look, you make a good point, right? The away performances are bad, but fortunately they've only got 1 away game left. So I think they will make top 4, and of course they've got the cup final against Man City as well. But you're 100% right. Next season they got to patch that away from. They have to, because I think the home games have been solid, no complaints whatsoever. But away from home, it's been really bad. United still get top 4. Agree. Varane should be the captain, arguably, but he's only been there for 2 seasons now, so potentially not. If I'm looking at Manchester United, Rashford maybe, although I don't know if he's a leader or not potentially, but Rashford I'd be looking at as potential captain. Luke Shaw maybe, why not a left back? But yeah, it shouldn't be Bruno Fernandes. It shouldn't be Harry Maguire. Definitely not. Definitely not, man. But yeah, Manchester United got to be looking at the main players is striker and goalkeeper. It has to be. Ten Hag has nothing to offer United. Osborne, I appreciate joining the stream. Hope you're doing well. I disagree, though. I disagree. For me, Erik Ten Hag's done a brilliant job overall. This is the first Man United manager that's come in since Alex Ferguson where I can genuinely see a man that exhibits the traits that Manchester United need to show. He's ruthless. He's firm. He doesn't take any excuses. He will get rid of Ronaldo, one of the greatest players of all time, if needs be, if it's a benefit to the team. I can see that man there being the right addition. The problem for me is he's made terrible signings, a.k.a. I don't know what he was doing bringing in Anthony. Weghorst was a stinker. Malacia I'll give time to. He's a young boy. But you get what I mean? He needs to make the right signings, and he needs to fix the away form. But in the majority of matches, he's done well. Look, he's won a trophy in his opening season. He's taken Manchester United from a team that was absolutely terrible last season, finishing 6th, nowhere near top 4, to comfortably, okay, it's not comfortable top 4 now, but for the majority of the season has been comfortably in the top 4. and has won the Carabao Cup, is in the final of the FA Cup as well. It's been a brilliant overall first season for Manchester United, and their trajectory is on the up. I think if they might make the right additions in summer, they're going to challenge for the title. That's just my thoughts on it. West Ham targets for next year. Brilliant question, Tommy. For me, I just think top half of the table. Top half of the table, fight for Europe potentially, but get your mojo back. I understand they're probably going to lose Rice in the summer, which will be tough for them because they're going to have to bounce back from that. It's never easy losing your marquee player, but they've got to bounce back domestically because they might win a trophy this season. And look, maybe the fact that you fighting for Europe to win a trophy is the right play for a lot of clubs, but you can't do that in back-to-back seasons. You now got to look at getting back domestically, man, because your reputation is built on your domestic form. That's the bread and butter. And West Ham didn't have that this season. They didn't. They can't be flirting with relegation again, man. After the last couple seasons, they were in the top 6 and top 7, Europa League and Conference League. They were a team that I believe, out of all the teams in the league, were the biggest challengers to the big 6, quote unquote. Now it seems like it's Brighton. Now it seems like it's Brentford. Now it seems like it's Newcastle. Those teams have taken advantage. So how teams like Brighton, Brentford, and Newcastle are now going on the up, whereas West Ham, on the contrary, have declined. That is the worrying thing for me. So if you're West Ham, you treat this season as a blip season. You got to win the Conference League. But next season, top half of the table, and I want to see a challenge for the top half of the table, a challenge for Europa Conference League maybe. That should be my targets if I'm West Ham United. Andrew, appreciate you joining the stream. It makes me overjoyed to see Manchester United losing. Well, it makes a lot of people overjoyed. I think Manchester United is one of the biggest hated clubs in England, to be honest. But yeah, I see your point. But look, it's one thing seeing them lose. But I think the most satisfying thing for opposition fans and for West Ham fans is they got outplayed Manchester United. Like in that second half, I saw the score 1-0 West Ham at half-time, right? And I'm thinking, all right, in the second half, United are going to come out all guns blazing. Got to come out to try and get back in this game. They didn't. They faltered. They went flat. And if anything, West Ham deserved to go 2-3 up. They were wasteful in front of goal. That is the worrying thing if you're Manchester United. That would be the most pleasing thing for David Moyes as well. This wasn't a 1-0 win where you fluked it. This was a deserved 1-0 win. Luca, I hope you're doing well, my friend. Doing well. Still buzzing after the Arsenal result. Just seen score. Yeah, West Ham won, man. Brilliant win. Not sure. Rashford, not that good of a leader. Varane should be captain. Look at the influence he had on the team. No to Casemiro because he doesn't have a cool head either with the amount suspended. Well, here's the thing, right? Varane gets injured a lot of the season. And another thing is Varane only just came to the club recently. So that is why. But I agree you need a cool head in there. And Bruno Fernandes is not a cool head. That is the problem. SA10, appreciate joining the stream. Hope you're doing well. At least I could have played Maguire. At least we could have seen one United player scoring. Well, that is the thing, man. That is the thing. Eric Ten Hag does not rate Maguire one bit. The fact he'd rather play Luke Shaw out of position at left centre-back so Maguire isn't in the team speaks volumes. And look, Eric Ten Hag's not been afraid to make big decisions. I don't know how Maguire's still captain. He should have stripped him of captaincy. But Maguire's company's done all right at times. But Maguire, just like Rob Holding for me, it's the same situation. You can bank on them for 1 or 2 games. They'll perform well against Crystal Palace and Leeds at home. But when you ask them in big games, when you ask them on the stretch of games, when it's 6, 7, 8 games in a row, that's when they show their true colours. A leopard does not change their spots. Maguire will do well in 1 game at home when you're playing Leeds or Crystal Palace. But when you ask him to play away at Man City, when you ask him to play away at Newcastle, etc., he's going to falter. He's going to stink up the gaff. And that is why you need to have rotation, have capable and competent backups. Their backups are Lindelof and their backups are basically Luke Shaw at centre-back. That is it. But look, United in the summer, there's a lot of players they can fix, but priority has to be striker and goalkeeper. Don't get me wrong. I'll be looking at a right back. I'll be looking at a centre midfielder. I'll be looking at a backup centre back. I'll be looking at all these positions, but striker and goalkeeper for me has to be the priorities, man. Right wing as well I'd be looking at because I know you just signed Anthony, but I'm not a fan whatsoever. They can't blame it on Maguire. Are you covering any of tomorrow's games, bro? Gonna have to see, Tommy. Potentially, if I do, it might be the early ones rather than the late ones, but I'm going to see. Definitely Champions League 100% I'll be covering on this channel. 100%. Now, make sure you subscribe, by the way, for Champions League related content. Anyone that's just tuning in right now, 31 of you, let me know your thoughts on live chat. I'd like to see some new faces in here as well, which has been really nice. A lot of new faces giving their thoughts. So yeah, let me know your thoughts on the game, the title race for top 4, race to avoid relegation, anything related to football. I want to hear it. Samuel, appreciate joining the stream. Now, who's to blame? Yeah, exactly. It's a perfect thing. Who is to blame? You could say De Gea today, and Tommy Tornado says that, De Gea, but De Gea's been at the club for 10 years now. For me, the writing was on the wall after 2018 season. Since 2019 season, De Gea has been crap. Absolutely crap. I've been calling for a new goalkeeper since then for Manchester United. They haven't fulfilled it. Now I'm looking and thinking, when are they ever going to fulfill it? Like, the summer has to be the time to change it. Well, it seems as though they're going to give him a new contract. Why? Like, why? What warrants De Gea getting a new contract? What performances does he put in that makes me think, bloody hell, they need to sign this man up. Make him sign a thing. Nothing. Nothing I've seen there has made me think that, oh my God, De Gea needs to sign a new contract. If anything, I'm getting rid of him. Getting rid of him, man. Even if you don't get any money, get rid, bro. You've got 10 years out of him. That's money. Your money well spent from the initial signing. Mike Maignan from AC Milan, bring him in. Bring him in. You're Manchester United. Don't be looking at, oh, he's got an extended contract at AC Milan. Oh, he's under there for too long. Oh, it's AC Milan, the semi-final Champions League. He doesn't want to move. Test the waters. Test the waters, man. That's what I got to be looking at Manchester United. But the thing is, right, Manchester United, I think they will get top 4. And they've got an FA Cup final. And I personally think they'll beat City in the FA Cup final. Because I just think they will. Like in a one-off game, United at City, knowing that they potentially can stop the treble. I've got a feeling they're going to beat City in the FA Cup final. I don't know why. I don't know what's telling me. I just got a funny feeling in my bones. So if you look at it and think, look, if Ten Hag gets top 4, if Ten Hag wins the Carabao Cup, and if he wins the FA Cup, or at least he's made the final at least, you got to say that's a really good season. 2 trophies and top 4. A brilliant first season for sure for Ten Hag, despite the fact that there's so many holes. For all the problems, for all the mistakes Maguire, for all the mistakes De Gea, for the fact that Anthony hasn't been great this season, for the fact Sancho hasn't been great, for the fact that Weghorst got signed and has done nothing, you still might have some trophies in the bank. So if you're Manchester United, you got to look at it and say, something to build upon for sure, man. Championship final day tomorrow. It is indeed, man. It is indeed. I can't wait for the playoffs, to be honest. Race for playoffs. There we go, man. And championship playoff football will be covered on this channel. Make no mistake about it. Thankfully, not in a relegation battle. Yeah, Cardiff are completely fine, man. It will be a massacre of United on June 3rd, FA Cup final against Man City. Well, that goes against everything else I just said. No, I think United will turn up. I think they will. I think in the FA Cup final, they'll turn up. I don't know what's telling me that, but I just think it will. Hokia, thank you for joining the stream. Hope you're doing well, my friend. Make sure you subscribe if you're new around here. De Gea error is common as Maguire. Agreed. 100% agreed, man. David De Gea does not get the same flack Maguire gets, and I have no clue why, man. He's a goalkeeper. Your goalkeeper has to save you. Your goalkeeper is either going to be your biggest asset or your biggest liability. For Arsenal, Ramsdale's been our asset recently. For Liverpool, Alisson's their asset. For Newcastle, Pope is their asset. For Manchester United, De Gea is their liability. That is the problem, man. That is the problem. Can you trust him? Do you trust De Gea to make big saves? Do you trust De Gea to pass out the back? Do you trust De Gea not to make a silly mistake? No. He's going to mess up. And that is your problem. You can't be looking at a goalkeeper and think, you know what, De Gea, he'll make one worldy save, all is forgiven. That's not good in my books. In my books, he's got to make consistent saves. And De Gea doesn't do that. Consistently doesn't make the saves. And regardless of his saves, he's crap with the ball at his feet. If you're Manchester United, you've got to be looking at playing entertaining football. You've got to be looking at a goalkeeper that can pass out the back, be the first line of attack. Ramsdale does it for Arsenal. Alisson does it for Liverpool. Ederson does it for Man City. De Gea for United can't play the ball out the back. He can't. He's incompetent at it. So for me, look at a goalkeeper, man. Goalkeeper and striker. And the ironic thing is, I called for this 2 weeks ago. And if Mike Maignan was in goal and if Harry Kane was up front, the least United do today is draw. The very least. Middlesbrough to win the EFL playoffs. That's my picks as well. I think they play brilliant football under Michael Carrick. I see a 5-team title race next season. Arsenal, City, Man United, Liverpool, Newcastle. The latter 3 needs to be smart on signings. Here's the thing, see, man. I'm really excited for next season, man. Genuinely really excited. Because how I look at it is, Arsenal City will compete. I think Liverpool will bounce back and compete. And if Man United make the right signings, I think they'll compete for the title. My wild cards are Newcastle and Chelsea. I want to see how much of a jump they make. I want to see if they make a big jump potentially. So you're looking at them thinking normally like 2 or maybe 3 teams challenge for the title. So now I'm looking at them thinking, hang on a minute, right? We could have a 4 or 5 team title race at the start of the season. The race for top 4 might be over. Like they might not even, the race for top 4 might be title challenge race. Do you know what I mean? So it's crazy how excited I am for next season. It's going to be absolutely brilliant. But this season, we've been treated as well. Let's not make any mistake about it. This season has been absolutely brilliant. The quality of football on show, the quality of matches, the amount of entertainment that's been on show this season has been absolutely brilliant, man. I've been a massive fan of football this season. I watched a lot of games. Whether my team Arsenal's played or any other team has played, I watched a lot of football, man. It's been absolutely brilliant to watch. As for Chelsea, I still think it's too soon, but probably 2024-25. Here's the thing, Siwan, yeah? You've got the budget behind you. You're going to bring in a competent manager, I hope, if you're Chelsea. Let's see. It's a wild card for me. It could swing. It could go really well or it could go really badly. Let's find out. I wish, but I've never seen a 5-way title race. Not going to happen. If it would, that'd be incredible, man. That'd be incredible. But I think Man City are too good for it to be a title race. Like, it's got to a case where you have to keep up with Man City. If Man City won in this league, I can see it happening. Because I can see Arsenal dropping points. I can see Liverpool dropping points. United not being consistent. To have a 5-way title race, right, you need the title winner to have 80 points and win the title with 80 points. Man City will never get 80 points for however long, man. Like, this team will consistently get 90 plus points because they're that good. So you got to look. So you got to match Man City, and matching Man City is tough enough as it is. So if Man City win this league, I'd see a 5-way title race. But with Man City, you got to keep up with them, man. That's very tough. I don't believe in Chelsea. Could be mid-table next year. Bowley is a liability. Well, here's the thing. He gives the money. But can they bounce back? We're going to have to find out, man. We're going to have to find out. Too lazy. I think Man United players are not getting anything to eat at Old Trafford. They can't even dribble or pressure. Just continue to play boring game. Say S8 and N, you're 100% right. You're 100% right. Away from home, they struggle, man. Struggle big time. And they're not playing good enough. And there needs to be some accountability. Now, they might make top 4. And if they win the FA Cup and they make top 4 and they've already won the Carabao Cup, it's a good season. But even despite the fact it's been a good season, you can't sit here and go, oh, job done, good season. You got to also sit here and take some responsibility. Because if you're Manchester United players, you got to know that these away performances aren't good enough. Not good enough one bit. You can't be going into away games and being outperformed consistently. Like, it's one thing losing the match, that happens. But being outperformed is a real problem for Erik Ten Hag to navigate. I got to look at it and say, it can change. It can. But will it change? That is a real question for me. And if you're Manchester United, you got to look at trying to change that, man. And that, especially Erik Ten Hag, it falls on his shoulders. A great English Premier League this year. Best for a few years, 100% agree, man. Really entertaining stuff. Look at the relegation battle this season. We can see that as a title race next year. Oh, hey, man, I mean, let's see. I have to say, though, this season, right, you're 100% right, C1. Everything has been brilliant this season. From title race to top race for top 4. Well, that's got interesting now. Race for Europe and the relegation battle. A lot has been up for grabs, and it's May. We're entering the back end of the season. Very few matches left. Really, everything's up for grabs. It's been absolutely brilliant. I appreciate everyone tuning in, by the way. Make sure you like up the stream. Make sure you subscribe if you're new around here. Appreciate everyone's talking live. I'm going to stream for a couple more minutes. Then, of course, I'm going to end the streams. I've been streaming for the last hour. Anyone else new around here, check out my previous streams on this channel. I reviewed Newcastle, Arsenal earlier today. Reviewed Man City, Leeds yesterday, as well as, of course, Liverpool, Brentford. We'll be covering everything related to the Premier League, from the title race to the race for top 4 to the race for Europe to the relegation battle as well. Everything is being covered on this channel. I appreciate everyone tuning in as they do, the regulars, everyone that streams, even if it is for 2 minutes tuned into the stream. I really do appreciate it. Relegation battle is brilliant. It is, man. And look, when you got something to fight for, anything can happen. And it's brilliant as well because it makes games like Man City versus Everton, for example, on the weekend, or Everton versus Man City, interesting because we know Everton are fighting for their lives, fighting for their skin. So now you're looking and thinking, hang on a minute, they can pull something off there. Whereas in other seasons, right, you're thinking, dead and buried. But who knows, man? Obviously, I don't mean the same teams, but the same level of exciting. I got you, Steve. Don't worry, we got your point. Imagine title race went to the last day with 3 teams. That would be crazy, man. That would be absolutely crazy. Well, here's the thing. I've got my ticket for Arsenal Wolves on the final day. If there's even a glimmer of hope, I will be so nervous and so excited going to that game, man. If I see my team win the title in my home ground, you understand how excited I would be. How excited, man. It is really depressing to be a United fan. Life is already depressing, and here comes Man United games. SA10, look, I hear you, and I do genuinely. But one thing I will say from an outside point, and I'm being completely unbiased because I'm an Arsenal fan, I'm not a Manchester United fan. I would be excited if I'm Manchester United. I'll tell you why, right? I'll tell you why. Under Erik Ten Hag, I can see the upward trajectory. I'm worried about Manchester United. And look, if an opposing fan is worried about your team, that's a good sign. I'm not worried about Tottenham. In fact, I actually feel sorry for Tottenham. The fact that I feel sorry for Tottenham shows how bad Tottenham are in the situation. I'm worried about Manchester United next season. I genuinely think if you pull off if you get rid of De Gea and pull off a top goalkeeper, and you pull off Harry Kane or Osimhen, you're fighting for the title. Genuinely, you are. You're not far off Arsenal. I think you are closer to Arsenal than Arsenal are to Man City. Genuinely, I think that's the case. So you look at him thinking, if you can take that next step, because you were in the title race until January, you can take that next step and maybe fight for the title until May or April next season. That's a massive step forward. You sign the right players, you're there. The home form's brilliant. Casemiro, you've still got a bit of life left in him. Rashford's firing, but you need to bring in another 2 top players in there, 2 superstars, and suddenly I think you're back. Genuinely, I think so. You've won a Carabao Cup, you might win an FA Cup, who knows? But Man United are back, and that is the main thing. That is the main thing. If I'm a Man United fan, that's what I'd be most excited about. Anyone new on here, make sure you subscribe, by the way, turn on bell notifications, check out my community tab so you don't miss my streaming schedule as well. Could be worse, man. You could support so many other teams who will never have the success of Man United. Exactly. But I also think that the standards should not change. Despite the fact United have been poor recently, your standards should still be to fight for the title. Your standards still should be to sign the best players because your name is Manchester United. I don't care if Man City win the Premier League every season for the next 50 years. There'll never be a bigger club than Manchester United in my eyes. So while you've got that big name, while you're the biggest club in England, which you are, you've got to make sure you bring in some top players, man, and compete. Man United cannot be Arsenal like last season, bottle top 4. Agree, Mohammed. They can't. And look, you're in a better position than Arsenal were last season. I don't think you will. I think you got enough home games. Look, if it was 3 away games and 1 home game, I'd be much more worried. The main thing is you got Wolves next. Just win that game. Win that game. Even if you win 1-0, even if it goes off Anthony's bum and goes into the back of net, so be it. Just beat Wolves and get back in the win column and the confidence will be back. Trust me. I see Man United being like Arsenal last season. Maybe. Who knows, man? Football's a crazy game. Anything can happen, but let's see. Going to take something to knock City off their perch. Exactly, Tommy. That's a brilliant point, right? Like I said, if City won in this league, it'd be a 5-way tie race and it'd be way more interesting. But because the standards Man City have set, you got to match it. And you got to match getting 90 plus points. And there's very few teams in this league that will get 90 plus points. For the brilliant season Arsenal have had, yeah, we need to win all of our remaining 4 games to get 90 points. We have to beat Brighton. Sorry, remaining 3 games. We have to beat Brighton. We have to beat, what are they called? Forest. And we have to beat Wolves. And then we'll be guaranteed 90 points. So if Arsenal even draw one of those last 3 games, we're going to end on 88 points, which is not even enough. For all the brilliant football Arsenal played this season, for the brilliant season they've had, they might not even get 90 points. It's crazy. So Man City, you've got to match them. That's the first thing. Match Man City, then out-compete them. That's the main thing. What would knock Manchester United from being the biggest club in England? I think Liverpool's the only club that could do it, personally. Liverpool, the only team that can do it, and it will take Liverpool winning consistently the Premier League. They've got the European-wise, are the best team in England, Liverpool. They've won the Champions League 6 times. They've got to win the Premier League consistently. If they can win the Premier League 4 or 5 more times before Manchester United win it, then you're looking at maybe something can take them over. But maybe not even, maybe 3 times. If Liverpool start to win the Premier League and build a real dynasty like Manchester City have done, I can see Liverpool doing it. I could only see Liverpool doing it. Agree. Liverpool's the only team that can beat Manchester United to being the biggest club in England. I don't think Arsenal can do it. Arsenal, the 3rd biggest club in England. That's my club as well. But I don't see Arsenal competing Liverpool, Man United for being the biggest club in England personally. Hope there will be a better time for Man U in the future. See you, bro. Bye. Liked and subscribed. I appreciate you joining the stream, SA10. It's my first time seeing you around the channel. So I appreciate you subscribing as well. Hope to see you around more often as well. Of course, I'll be covering Man United games from now to the end of the season, as well as other football matches as well. I appreciate everyone that's just subscribed to the channel as well. Whether you subscribed 8 months ago or 8 seconds ago, like SA10 or whatever, I appreciate it, man. Appreciate you and love to hear your thoughts on the live chat. Take care. But yeah, I'm going to start to round off this stream anyway because it's been streamed for the last hour. I appreciate everyone tuning in, let me know their thoughts as well. My next stream, for 100% sure, will be Real Madrid versus Man City on Tuesday. And just before that, at 7 p.m., I will be doing a Champions League semi-final predictions and preview. But also, I'll be looking at, I might do a game tomorrow. It depends on my schedule. I've got to see what's happening. Potentially might do a game tomorrow. Definitely not all 3, but maybe one of them. I'll have to find out. But yeah. Arsenal will always be the biggest club in London, 100%. Chelsea are second, and Chelsea will push Arsenal, I think. But I just think for the name, for the domestic success, for the historical success, Arsenal a bigger club than Chelsea. That's just my thoughts on it. Keep up the amazing work. I appreciate it, Luca, as well. Love seeing your streams as well, my friends. How's your weekend been away from football? Pure revision, man. Got my last test on Tuesday. When that's wrapped up, I'll be delighted. I've got a field trip next week, though. I'm going up to Norfolk for, what's it called? Geology Geology field trip. So yeah, I don't study geology, by the way. I study civil engineering. If anyone thinks I do the most boring subject on planet Earth, but a part of civil engineering is geology. So I'll be up in Norfolk next week. So the setup will be completely different. I'll find a way to stream, whether it is on my phone or whatever, on my iPad. I'll find a way, but bear with me because the quality of streams will be slightly worse next week. It'll be worse from the Man City Everton game onwards. So I depart on Sunday for some reason. From Sunday till Friday, I'm on a field trip. So yeah, won't have my normal setup. Bear with me. I'll still try and get the streams out because Mr. Consistent, man, nothing will stop me, man. Yeah, good luck with exams. Take care. See you for the UEFA Champions League streams. Excited for that. Can't wait, man. Can't wait. And I hope to see you all at 7 p.m. as well. It'll be around 7 p.m. I'll schedule the stream regardless on Tuesday for my UEFA Champions League predictions. I want to see all you lot's predictions as well. Who's going to make the Champions League final? Who's going to win the first legs? I can't wait for it. 2 massive games on Tuesday and Wednesday. You'll have to find out my predictions on Tuesday. I appreciate everyone tuning in as always. To wrap up this match, West Ham beat Manchester United 1-0, deservedly so as well. I think they played brilliantly. Man United struggling to perform in big away matches, struggling to perform in intense away matches. They should still be fine for top 4, but Liverpool are now clawing away and digging away at it, and United got to remain composed and calm. They've got a friendly game against Wolves next week that they should bounce back from, but it's going to be tough, man. It's going to be tough. I appreciate everyone tuning in as always. Make sure you subscribe if you're new around here. Make sure you drop a like. And if you're watching this now that it's stopped being a stream and is now a video, let me know in the comment section your thoughts on Manchester United, West Ham, the game itself, or anything else football related. I had a ball, then went to a nightclub yesterday, left at 6 p.m. and got back at 3 a.m. Well, there you go, man. Siwan's having the time of his life, man. Time of his life. I appreciate everyone tuning in as always. Hope to see you all in my next one. Check out my community tab so you never miss my streaming schedule. Hit bell notifications so you never miss any surprise streams. And check out my Twitter and Instagram, which should be in the description of this video, so you can hear my thoughts on football even when I'm not streaming. I've been My Football. I appreciate everyone tuning in as always. I hope you have a really good day and hope to see you all in my next one.